Hi, welcome to Finding the Word. I am Melanie Brown. Today's word is barefoot. So this thing is kind of interesting. I've been in the streets just kind of catching it, lately. But anyway, I got invited to the Home and Garden show with a girlfriend and her auntie. Had a wonderful time with them. We were looking at all kind of interesting things. We went out to lunch and we were done, or dinner really, and it was a good time. But while we were there was a lot of food and stuff and energy drinks and stuff. So we stopped off at the seasonings, and there was some seasoning salt that the person was packaging themselves to be free of like a lot of additives and things. And they also had some really yummy sauces. I was trying to make some decisions because we're into a lot of cooking in the house. Lots of they cook all the way down to the youngest ones and love interesting sauces and things. And I was trying to decide, would I get the bigger one? Because it was, I had bought quite a few things that, hadn't planned on getting. So I said, well, I think we really could use the bigger one. He said, well, do you do a lot of cooking? This will last you for a while. I said, well, there's a lot of people cooking in the house, and we do, there are, when we make meals, a lot of times, especially dinner and stuff, it's made for 14. So it may not go as far as it would for most, but he said 14. What you mean 14? So I said, well, we have 12 children still living at home. We have 13 total. One is already married and gone, but 12 are home right now. And so that is where, plus my husband and I. So he was like, oh man. And then he said something a little odd that I've just never had anyone say to me. So he was like, oh, well, your husband kept you barefoot and pregnant. And I was like, what? And so, I said, no, I wouldn't say it was like that, but okay. And I went on, but I was like, I felt like he had just literally just hurled us back to like 1940 something, and I looked up like, where did this come from? What would make you like, what is this? And so it was saying that in the history of this from the early 1900s, when I guess a doctor had made a comment about cutting down on divorce. And he was saying that if you keep your wife barefoot so she can't run and go places, and if you keep her pregnant where she's helpless and can't really fight or whatever, and work hard and stuff, then you could stay married because they're not going to leave you. So basically, they're like, he just threw out a hostage situation to me, an abusive hostage situation that I've been dealing with my children. Well, I'm sure he didn't know nothing about what he was saying. It was just kind of probably something he just heard. He wasn't that old. He wasn't like old enough anyway to be grown during that time to come up with this saying. I'm thinking he just figures it was, I don't know, something he heard, I guess, from someone who is older. But we have to be careful about the things we say to people and where they come from, because you are up here insulting people and don't even know like what the history of something you're saying. You're just putting out words. If you see someone with a large family, this is kind of a public service announcement. It's a scripture, but it's sort of a public service announcement too, that, you can say things like, wow, what a blessing. Oh, large family. Okay. All right. I couldn't do that. Like, but that's whatever. But barefoot and pregnant, talking about the TVs and how many we have and all of these odd things as if, like we could go without it. It's not really funny. Like, our families are not a joke to us who enjoy our families and love our children and enjoy just, the gifts that God gives to us. And you just don't have to say anything odd or make it weird, like you just don't have to make it weird. So anyway, the scripture is Isaiah 20. It's a whole passage because there's only 6 scriptures. So I learned about what message that was about Egypt and Ethiopia that Isaiah gave. And so it reads, in the year when King Sargon of Assyria sent his commander in chief to capture the Philistine city of Ashdod, the Lord told Isaiah, take off the burlap that you have been wearing and remove your sandals. Isaiah did as he was told and walked around naked and barefoot. Then the Lord said, my servant Isaiah has been walking around naked and barefoot for the last 3 years. This is a sign, a symbol of the terrible troubles I will bring upon Egypt and Ethiopia. For the king of Assyria will take away the Egyptians and Ethiopians as prisoners. He will make them walk naked and barefoot, both young and old, their buttocks bare to the shame of Egypt. Then the Philistines will be thrown into panic, for they counted on the power of Ethiopia and boasted of their allies in Egypt. They will say, if this can happen to Egypt, what chance do we have? We were counting on Egypt to protect us from the king of Assyria. So yeah, they're going to be around naked, and I guess naked and barefoot's worse than pregnant and barefoot. But anyway, don't forget to find the word. And if you see someone out with a large family, just remember to say something pleasant, something that is a blessing. And also just in any situation, just before we open our mouths and speak, just to be careful that we are uplifting someone, that we are being encouraging. So don't forget to find the word. I will see you tomorrow.